What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. It is the match review for the FA Cup semi-final, the second semi-final. Manchester United 1, Chelsea 3, absolutely battered, bruised, annihilated, embarrassed at Wembley. Man United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, all the boys. Chelsea will meet Arsenal in a repeat of the 2017 FA Cup semi-final, or final, sorry. Both Manchester clubs out in the semi-final stage. I am here with Carl, Dev, Tom, and Yannicka. I mean, anyone can go first. Maybe I'll come to Dev first. What did you make of that? What happened out there?
I mean, it's looking funny now when I think we were on a podcast recently and said that United had a pretty decent chance at going for maybe even a couple of trophies and top four, let alone just this one. But at the end of the day, we were naive, I think, in our setup against Chelsea. We thought if we just do what we did in the season so far, that maybe we'll get the result that we got in the season so far. Clearly, it didn't work. Credits to Chelsea, really. They made it tough for us right from the beginning. They didn't give us any space. They were physical at times, sometimes to the left of the law, but at the end of it, I didn't think what they did was too bad, except for maybe one or two contentious decisions. But they were physical. They didn't give us any time to breathe, and that's the way to get to us. Really, you see throughout the season, if we are given the time and space on the ball, then we can make stuff happen. Today we didn't get the time and space, and nothing happened. So, kind of makes sense. But if anyone in that dressing room for United feels as though they can hold their heads up in any sort of, anything that they did well, they shouldn't. They should hang their heads in shame after that performance, right from the back through to the front. It was a disgusting performance from everyone, and finding it hard to stand up for these lot. And Maguire and De Gea have a lot to answer for. So nothing positive from me.
That's the thing, because as you said, it's from back to front. Obviously, there's glaring individual errors, which we'll probably get onto, but from back to front, I don't think there's a player out there who can say, you know what, despite everything, I had a good game. There's not a player who can say that. No. And when that happens, 11 people out there, then you know you got a problem. Come to Tom. What did you make of that?
Oh, like I said, if we get knocked out, then it's not really the end of the world. We've got other things to play for. I wasn't really that bothered if we would have gone through tonight or not. The only reason why I would have is, it gets you to a final. You got possibility of winning the trophy and whatnot. But, the confidence has been flying high for the last couple of months, not losing a game. We developed that winning mentality that we can play badly in a game and still get a result. And it's just showcased tonight against a team that that have the players that can hurt you in a lot more than other teams. Like I take the Southampton game, the pressing game that they put on, that was an amazing, tactic that Southampton used, and it worked to perfection because it caused errors, it caused mistakes. Chelsea's adopted it today. As soon as you had the ball, there's a player straight in front of you. I saw all the Chelsea players tonight put in a shift. I don't think I could say one player that didn't at least try and go that extra mile. I look at Manchester United, and I've talked about them a lot over the past couple of weeks about there's that mentality there, there's that fight there. They just held it today. We had players out there. That team would have, maybe on another day, if West Ham, if that team plays against West Ham, you'd expect us to win with that team. I expect us to win even without some of the players in there like Martial, like Pogba. It was just like Dev just said, it was a shambles from the front to the back. Don't even get me started on the goalkeeper. Oh my! How many points has he made us drop this season? I go back to Watford. How did he not catch that? That cost us 3 points there. That could be 3 points to the top four race. Exactly the same again today. 2 goalkeeping errors. That second one. How was he not just? He's down on the floor already. How did you not catch that? I played professional football from a young age, and I played an outfield position for a little bit, and I played as the goalkeeper. When I was 7 years old, I would have saved that. If you can't catch it, punch it away for a corner. It's simple schoolboy errors. and I don't really get how he's still getting paid. Because personally, I wouldn't even pay him his wages. I wouldn't even pay him his. Why would you not? Why would you not? Why would you pay him his wages tonight for that? You know, you've got Dean Henderson at Sheffield United. Put on an absolute goalkeeping masterclass the other day. Probably could have lost to Leicester 5 or 6-0. Luckily, it was only nullified 3. Take any goalkeeper. Take Willie Caballero. He would have probably saved both of them chances.
Bloody
You know, that's second goalkeeper. And I'm going to label it now. The most overrated goalkeeper so far. I'm not bothered anymore. Seriously, he needs to get out. He needs to go, man. I don't care. Henderson, man.
Reactionary.
No, I don't think it's reactionary. I'll tell you why I don't think it's reactionary, because
it's happened all season.
But that's the thing. That's the thing.
One player. It's not one game.
No, but the thing is, it's more than that.
He's done so much before.
It's more than
one
that.
season, and it wipes out all what he's done.
No, but it's not one season. It's
not one season. It was halfway through last season as well. It's a year and a half.
Since
we criticised Jesse Lingard for not scoring a goal or assisting in all of 2020. David De Gea, how many goalkeeping errors has he made this season? And even to the end of last season. You know, it's a disgrace. At Man United, you have the best in class. Look at the goalkeepers that we've had over the last 30, 40 years. Peter, Schmeichel, all these great goalkeepers.
Van der Sar, all of that.
Van der Sar, they wouldn't make
one second, Tom. Before I come to the rest of the guys, I know Dev has to leave, so I want to give him the final word. Can speak about the mistakes and all that. And we've got a couple of people in the back room waiting to come through. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, cheers for that, mate. With the De Gea debate, I can understand why it's, especially after he's done what he's done today, and not like you said, not just today, but a few times even since the restart, let alone for the last 1.5 years, he has made some mistakes. And I think all in all, the thing that I'm most scared about is that it's not just these high-profile mistakes he's making, but there are some inefficiencies that he has in his game. He's not very good at coming out for the ball. One-on-one, he's pretty good. Shot stopping, reflexes, he's solid. But you give him a situation where he has time to think and he can't be reactive, and you call on his natural instinct, and then you cause a few issues for yourself. So in all honesty, like De Gea's time at United might be maybe 1 or 2 seasons from the end, purely because we don't.
Would you say Henderson has to come in next season and challenge him for the position? No?
There's the thing with Henderson is that he's had a very good season at Sheffield United, and he had a good one in the Championship, but we are clearly forgiving all of the mistakes Henderson made at the beginning of Sheffield United. And he's at a club where if he makes a mistake, it's only Sheffield United. Yeah, there's only Sheffield United, so it doesn't matter. And he makes that one mistake. I remember he made 4 mistakes in the opening month of this season. He makes one of those mistakes, and you question his psyche and you question him in the way De Gea was questioned. He ain't coming back from that. At least I don't think he could. But he has.
Yeah, but that's the start. That's the start of the season. This has been longer with De Gea. This has been a year and a half.
But do you think that
so much longer?
But do you think Henderson's overall game at United warrants him going in ahead of De Gea?
I think for me, he has to come in and challenge De Gea. De Gea can't go into the as you are the guaranteed first choice. It can't be a case what we got this season where De Gea's first choice, Romero knows he's second choice. For me, look at what Chelsea did when Courtois was coming as a much better keeper and had Pear Check there. And they basically said he's going to challenge. And then the season after, Courtois was starting and Czech was out to Arsenal. So I think Dean Henderson has to be told that the number 1 spot is open. So it's up to you to take it. That's for me. But thanks for coming, Dev.
Thanks, mate.
The full-time podcast, and you can catch Dev there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers for that, mate.
I know Kyle and Yannicka, you've been waiting for a second, but I'm going to come to, thanks for coming, Shay. I'm going to come to Javern first as a Chelsea fan, looking very, very smug over there. 3-1 victors. You're into the FA Cup final. You must be happy with what you saw out there, happy with the tactics, the players, and obviously the result.
I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie, I was so shocked. I was watching the game. The first half, we were edging it. We were, and then the whole injuries things happened. I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna go into the first half. It's gonna be 0-0. Okay, what's gonna happen here? And Giroud comes. I was like, you know what? This is good. This is good. This is good. Second half starts and we score. I was like, yep, this is perfect. I didn't expect this because the form that I saw Man United on, I thought that was it. They were gonna come in. We've just lost to Sheffield, and we also lost to West Ham. Our form is all over the place. I didn't know what was gonna happen, and that I did not expect 3-0. I know they went on and scored, but it's just brilliant. I have nothing to say. I hopefully we get top four now. I just need Man United to just beat Leicester. And we're all good to go. Then we can lose our way to top four.
we'll talk about top four in a second.
But yeah, it was brilliant. I didn't expect it. It was a brilliant game. We played really well.
Yannicka, as a neutral watcher, I say neutral. You're a Man City fan, so you're not neutral. You always want Man United to lose. Where do you think it went wrong for Man United, or where do you think it went right for Lampard? Go on.
Activated.
Yeah.
It's not anymore. What did you say, sorry?
Where did it go wrong for Man United, and what did Lampard get right?
I think probably due to the formation change, because I think we have the same issue at City sometimes. Like, we'll be playing one way with certain players, and then they'll take them out and bring different players in, and it just kind of unsettles the squad a little bit. So I think that's probably where Ole went wrong. In terms of how you played, I think it's very much the same as yesterday. Chelsea were excellent. So, you know, as bad as United were, I think Chelsea were really good. So I think even if you had played, you know, well, they still might have won, you know, today, because they were great from start to finish. So yeah, I just think it's to do with that. Obviously, De Gea is quite prone to mistakes at times. So, you know, he shouldn't have conceded their first two goals. The third one was an own goal, bit of a deflection, so you can't really fault him for that one. But the other two, but then I don't know if he's the one that hit his head, because at the end of the game he was passing it out for a corner and it was his ball. So I don't know.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Shane, Man United
concussion.
Yeah.
Oh no, okay, Shane, we got Man United fan. You were on yesterday at the end of the Chelsea Arsenal. Obviously, Man United today, poor result, poor performance. First, I want to ask: was David De Gea? Do you think he was at mistake for the output for the first? For me, I thought it was a bit harsh on everyone saying that was his fault. But I mean, maybe a keeper of his quality should be saving that. And overall, what do you think about the performance?
With regards to De Gea, he should have saved the first two goals. But to be fair, both of the defending for them first two goals were awful. Because for the first goal, no one tracked Aspilicueta, and then when he put the cross in, Lindelof was wrong side of his man. And yes, De Gea should have saved it, but I think it was a bad goal to give away altogether from the team. The second goal, Williams pretty much passes it straight to Mason Mount, and I don't know why no one closed Mason Mount down to get a shot away. And yes, De Gea should have saved it, but overall, Chelsea had a really good game plan and they executed it very, very well. The press was really, really high up the field, made it hard for us to play through them. But we were just really, really sloppy, and Chelsea deserved the win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, I don't know. I think Yannicka makes a good point in terms of the formation. I think Chelsea were much more fluid in their formation. I think it's a formation they've played much more regularly than us. We've kind of settled on a 4-2-3-1. And Chelsea have at times interchanged between it, especially like people like Alonso and Reece James, who are very good wing backs. And Wan-Bissaka is anything but a wing back. Brandon Williams didn't look at it today at all. They were much more comfortable. And I think that their pressing game, it really stopped us from playing out of the back, which we saw what happened with Southampton. Happened the same way. They were pressing and we struggled. And today we never at no point got into the rhythm. Once again, I'm gonna come to Kyle again, neutral here. What Is that the result, the performance you expected from both teams out there, or was it a shock for you?
Not necessarily a shock, because I did say on the original podcast when we was previewing both these matches that I had predicted a Man City Chelsea final. That's what my prediction was. So I had somewhat expected Chelsea to go through, mainly because, like I said, I expected some of the key players to get rested. Greenwood, Pogba, Martial, like those players, I expected, players like Fred and James to be on the pitch. And I said, if Man United do that and Chelsea go out to win this game, and pretty much they played their strongest players available to them. Obviously, it's not their best 11 because players like Kante, etc., weren't on the pitch, but the best players available to them is what they use. I'll say, as I said, Chelsea will go through. Chelsea will beat Man United. But if Man United go for this game and it's the same 11 that they've been playing week in, week out, even if they are a little bit tired, they will beat Chelsea. And as it was, Solskjaer decided to rest, probably put in more importance in the top four race, and as a result has suffered a defeat here. But what baffles me the most in these last few weeks, we've seen nothing but underdogs winning games. We've seen Arsenal beat Liverpool. We've seen Arsenal beat Man City. We've seen Chelsea beat Man United here, who, for me personally, Man United are the favourites here, even though Chelsea are higher in the league table by, a point? I think it is. What have all those games had in common is that the underdog team, or the team that we expected to lose, were all playing a pressing game and executed it very well. Now, what baffles me is, why can't these teams do this week in, week out? Where is the motivation and the determination to do this? Do this against your Leicesters. Do this against your Burnleys and your Southamptons. Why is it you only want to execute your pressing game when you're playing against the bigger sides or when you're the underdogs? If you do this week in, week out, surely you would pick up better results throughout the season. Honestly, it baffles me, because you can clearly do it. The evidence is there.
Before I come back to Javert, Tom, do you think Solskjaer got it wrong with his selection, his tactics?
Well, I've obviously praised him over the last, since he's come into the job, really. Like when we had the major bounce at the beginning, and then it obviously went downhill towards the end of the season. The cracks have always got to open back up. But, today, first half got absolutely tactically outclassed. Frank Lampard's clearly done his homework, play the pressing game. Maguire, Lindelof, all of the back four, they're not confident with the ball at the feet when they're being pressed down by quick players. I didn't really think they had much time to think about where they were passing the ball. They just passed it into an open channel, and then there's a Chelsea player just running there. So then there you go, you've given them the ball, then they can go up the other end and try and score. You could see today, it was just absolute diabolical from front to back. When we brought on the substitutions, Martial didn't really get into the game, so then he's been nullified, so you can't score through Martial. James, all he did was run. I didn't really see him do much else. I don't even think he put a cross into the box or anything when we moved him out toward the right, when we switched formation. Rashford had a half chance, but when you're trying to hit it with your left foot across goal, it's not going to go in. You need a bit of luck for it to go in off the post. But it's these things that we express about the whole game. The first half killed the game. Chelsea could have easily been 2 or 3-0 up. Going into the second half, it was a little bit better. Obviously the injury to Eric Bailly wasn't exactly amazing. Taking out a centre back, and best wishes go to him and his family. It looks very serious when it took nearly 11, 12 minutes to get him all sorts to get off the field and everything. But I don't really get Mike Dean as well. Mike Dean. I think nearly all of our players would have been fouled at least 3 or 4 times, and not one single Chelsea player today picked up a booking. I don't really see how that wasn't an issue from that perspective.
I'm not saying it's not an issue, but for me, I don't think that had an influence on the game. I really don't.
No, it didn't. It didn't have an influence on the game. But when you carded, You know, say when Paul Pogba got carded, if he goes and puts a trailing leg in on Kovacic, then he's sent off. You're down to 10 men. You know, that puts a label over you then, and then you know, oh well, if I go into a silly challenge now, oh I'm off the field, and then we're down to 10 men. You know, and it's stuff like that that impacts the game, because if you're down to 10 men, then you're not at an advantage. So, but I'm not blaming it on an official. You know, that's just something that was in the game. From the first half, ended the game. Second half was a little bit better. You know, I think it was more the players let him down today. You know, I don't think it was really the manager's fault overall. You know, when you go to a semi-final,
No. It's the manager's fault, Tom. It's the manager's fault. I'm not going to go with it's the players thing, because from the get go,
in terms of what,
from the get go, I think so. First thing, number one, I do not understand why Romero didn't start.
Yeah, I get that. Like team selection, that's pre-match. That's pre-match, though. That's what I mean. That's pre-match. You start 11. Go on.
That's the manager, though. It's the manager who picks the team. The manager picked the team and basically changed the formation. That comes from the manager. So Lampard did not change. Okay, I know Kepa's not a great keeper, but he kept Caballero in goal. Romero, for everything that he said, like, I don't remember Romero, even up until this point, like making those types of glaring errors.
Like the goal against Norwich, he should have done better, for example. But
that's not a glaring error. That's not a
glaring. No, it's not.
No,
that was just one moment, and then they scored from that.
Yeah, I know. So, but what I'm saying is, like, at least as a first thing, like, for me, it's like, if you're gonna play, it's like, what was Ollie trying to do? Was he trying to say, right, okay, I'm really going to take this game seriously, so I want to play my strongest team, but then not play my strongest team and switch the formation up? I don't really get it. So it's like, if you're going to switch things up,
there was too many changes to the way we play, the players, everything. There was too many changes overall.
See, me personally, I don't have an issue with in terms of the personnel changing. I think the personnel had to change. We saw when we played, for example, Crystal Palace, he made some changes. Matic didn't start the game. The game before against Southampton and the one against, well, definitely Southampton one, possibly the one against Aston Villa, we looked very, very tired. So I think from 2 days ago we played, it would be very foolish of him to go with the same 11 or our best 11 in that game, especially when we got injuries to, you know, in the fullback area. I think that would have been an issue. But to change the formation as well, and we have, I don't think we played a three at the back against Chelsea before.
We did play. To be fair, we did play that last time at Stamford, and we actually beat them 2-0. You know what happened is that obviously Lampard this time changed his formation to match Ollie's formation.
Yeah.
And the reality is that the types of players that Chelsea have, they have better players to play a 3-4-3.
Yeah,
that's how Conte won the league for Chelsea.
Like the likes of Alonso, you got Reece James, who are more natural wing backs than the likes of
exactly.
Wan-Bissaka and Williams.
Yeah, Alonso and they're much, but that's how they won the league in the first with Conte, where you had Alonso and Victor Moses like playing as wing backs. But you put Alonso as a left back defensively, he's trash. Whereas obviously Wan-Bissaka is a lot better, Williams is so. You know, so Lampard matched all his formation, but with actual players that could play in that formation. We didn't. By obviously the unfortunate, you know, injury, but to be honest, from the 20 minutes he was on, I felt that he was actually our best defender. Even though, like, people say, like,
but I think he's our best defender generally. In general, just that he can't stay fit. That's his main issue.
No, but he has been fit. This is since the restart. For how long he's been fit? But Ollie persists in playing a Maguire and Lindelof, who not only have an error in them, but don't have any pace. And more importantly, Bailly has a confidence on the ball. Yes, sometimes he can lose it. But I mean, if you saw that clip in the first 15 when he's surrounded by three players, he just does that. That's something that you need confident ball-going players. And as soon as he came off, suddenly they're like, right, okay, like we can actually get at like Lindelof and Bailly. But honestly, I just think that, like, I'm more annoyed. I'm sure you guys are annoyed that, like, even though I think Chelsea ultimately deserved to win the game, we gave them those goals. We should see out the first half, the error by David De Gea, and then goodness knows what happened for the third goal. To be honest,
That's the thing, because as well as Chelsea, I'm going to come to Shane just now. As well as Chelsea played, David De Gea wasn't pulling off save after save after save.
No,
He was near the end though. He did pull off a few saves.
No, I agree. At the end, he was pulling off save, but I mean, before the first and second goal, which I guess ultimately goes down to David De Gea errors, and even for the first one, defensive errors in terms of the near post, tracking the run of Giroud. But before those two goals, which we ultimately gave them, while they were the better team by far, and we needed to change something desperately, they weren't creating golden opportunities.
No, they weren't.
At the back.
No. It was more half chances.
One second, guys. Let me come in
quick because I need to actually head off in a bit.
So I want to ask you then: Are you happy with the tactical change that Lampard made with Chelsea? Because we speak about Daniel James and Rashford, and the way we've played in the past, we've countered a lot down the wide areas. And playing the three at the back, I think, probably nullified that. So you must have a tactical change that he made.
I'm happy with that. I know Lampard this season he has made tactical changes at times, and they've come off really well. So I'm glad that this one paid off. But I would like to come in and say, you guys, I wouldn't say this is down to Oli. I wouldn't put the blame on him for your loss. I would say the players, because I know he set the formation and obviously they have to go out and play. But if you really think about it, Man United, you have good players, but the problem you've had for the beginning of the season, you didn't have the key players. When there's no Pogba, when there's no Fernandes,
Thank you.
when there's no Pogba, no Fernandes, United does not click at all. If you see how the season began, where you lot were down, where you were, you steadily came up, but it just wasn't the best. January came, Bruno came in, things got better for United. And the restart happened, and you had Pogba, you had your best team out. Whenever you had your best team out, you're winning games 3-0, 4-0, going rampant. It was really good. And today here, yes, the manager didn't pick those players to start because obviously he's thinking about top 4. He's thinking about getting back into it, and he's thinking, it's a big dilemma here. So I don't think he was prioritizing this FA Cup. And also, you guys say that you gave us the goals. You didn't give us the goals. I say it in terms of if you were playing another team, let's say we weren't playing well, would we have scored those? Would we be in those positions to score those goals?
I heard that.
When you guys sit there, when you guys say we gave them goals, I think that makes you guys feel a little bit better. But
no, it's not about that.
I hear you.
We were playing terrible like this. That mistake that David De Gea made for the second goal. I don't care whether you're the better team or the worst team. If I used to play goalkeeper, if I made that mistake, I will be disappointed with myself. So if a one-plus keeper,
that's fine. I get that, but I'm just saying to sit there and say that you ultimately gave us those goals, I feel that is wrong because it's not like we're playing bad. It's not like for example, it wasn't a missed kick and then it hit Giroud and then it flew into the back of the net. It wasn't like that. It was a good play. Aspilicueta got the ball in. Giroud managed to got onto the ball before Lindelof and it came in. Yes, it came off. What's his name? De Gea could have saved that, but it's like that for every goal. The keepers could have saved them. That's what their job, to save goals, but sometimes they don't. So I would say, as much as De Gea did make mistakes, I wouldn't say that you gifted us those goals. Because if we weren't in those positions, playing away how we were, would we have scored them?
Well, we let the goals in then. Is that a better twist on it then?
Well, if
we let the goals in.
Yeah, because it happens. It happens. If we were playing really bad, I will accept that you gave us those goals, but we weren't playing bad. So I can't accept that.
But even as a Chelsea fan, you've got to accept that there'll be games where, like, you look at Kepa and you're like, oh, is it because
I didn't know it. You've been in those situations with
Kepa. But I know Kepa is bad. I expect nothing good from him. He's bad.
You've been in those games where Kepa has given goals to the opposition. And I'm not saying the reason we lost was because of that. The point that I was making was that it's possible to play bad. Like you can't play well every game. But when you play bad, you don't want to compound it by gifting
with errors.
Say, all right,
I hear you. You don't want to gift it with errors.
Bad, they have to score the goal as opposed to that. That's the only point I was making. That's the only point I was making.
And I hear that. So, for instance, for example, you guys with Kepa. Kepa, he is giving away a lot of goals.
No, he's not. They're not getting in positions to score.
Yes, they are getting in positions. They are getting in positions, and he gives them away. He is poor. He should be saving so much. And I hear that. I see where you guys are going with this. I really do. But we played really well. We did not play poorly. So I can't accept that you gave us those goals. If we were playing poorly too, then I'll say, you know what? We are lucky. We got really lucky. But we played well.
Something, though?
So I can't say that we're lucky.
Go on, Shane.
When you lost 3-0 to Sheffield United, would you say you gifted their goals to that you gifted their goals?
We were crap.
Yeah, no, but in that game, did you gift them their goals?
Well. They played well. They played well. They played
no, but the goals we conceded against you were very similar to the ones you conceded against Sheffield United.
Our goals that the goals that Sheffield scored against us was because we played poorly. They played well and they scored.
Yeah, but we were similar. We played poor and you played well. Sheffield United played well and you were poor in that game.
Yes.
No, but it's a point. It's a valid point. The reason why I say it is because if you speak to most Chelsea fans, and I don't know exactly what you said at the time, but they were saying, Rudiger, what are you doing? Christensen, Alonso. So it's like, obviously, there's two sides to every coin in it. You know, if you're the one scoring going forward, you're going to praise, the attacking, etc., etc. But these are, especially the second goal, it is a basic save. The first one, as I said, for me, he should do better. But
I can understand that. That one, that goal.
One is a gift. Like he's nobody.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can take that one. But Mount didn't have to shoot. He could have went forward. He could have went forward some more. But yes, I can see it did go in off De Gea's hands. Maybe it caught De Gea off guard. He didn't expect him to shoot either. But then that's poor on De Gea. That's poor on De Gea for not expecting that he could shoot it at this top level. So I cannot fully accept that you gifted us this game. I cannot fully accept that. I can see where you're saying it from. I can understand, but I can't accept that because we did not play we didn't play poorly to be gifted anything. It's not like we were shocking and we got some fumbling decisions rambling around in the box and 1-1-0. I can't accept that.
Yeah, you did enough to. Yeah, you did. You were the better out of both teams, and you deserve to win the game. Yeah, that's fair play.
Are you gonna?
You can criticize. You can. Is this what things like?
Are we gonna win it?
That's what I want to know.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. Arsenal love this FA Cup, but I'll see how I feel. I'm not saying anything now while I'm happy with the win.
Luis might give you some goals, but you don't want that. So
David Luiz might give you some goals. You never know.
Red Devil Studio, what are you gonna say?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that, like, if you actually look at, because we're talking about defenders, like, if you look like objectively at like the table, for example, and we're still talking about either criticizing defenders and keepers. Chelsea have actually conceded more goals. Although they're third, they've conceded more goals this season than anyone in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the Premier League table, so basically, like, despite the fact they're third and they have won games, they used to be there, they still have the worst goal conceding record compared to them in the top 10. So based on that stat, you can clearly see, well, hang on for a second, is our defense actually particularly great? We're conceding too many goals, 49 goals, I think. So I'm using that stat as an example to say that if you're conceding goals in key moments, the amount of times that we've conceded United goals season in key times, it's not even just that we conceded in the first 5 minutes. Like, this happened again against Southampton. 1 minute to go, can't see the game out. We concede, we drop points. First goal, we concede just before the half. Second goal, we concede just before. It's like, it's not even necessarily when you concede. I wouldn't even mind if you'd scored in the first 5 or 10 minutes. But when you're trying to see off a half or something, it's
to do with mentality. It comes to mentality at that stage because you need to.
Yeah, it's mentality.
You have to focus even more at that moment.
We don't, and I don't
that
know.
was something
It's
I
my
was also gonna
personal
say too.
opinion, but I still think I still do not understand why Eric Bailly doesn't get a run in this side. You cannot play if there's evidence that you cannot play. The pairing into next season cannot be Lindelof and Maguire. It
No, but
just
the thing
can't.
was, the thing is,
Red Devil.
One second, Tom. Go on, Shane.
I think Ollie plays Lindelof over Bailly because of the fact that I think Ollie likes someone who's more calm. And Bailly, even though I like Bailly, I think Bailly's our best defender. I think if he could stay fit, he would be one of the best defenders in the Premier League. But Bailly is very, very, very rash, and he injures himself because he's always trying to tackle. I think that's why.
But he's been fit. This is what I'm saying. Like I respect all United fans saying that, but he's been fit since even before restart. He's been there.
Yeah, but if he started all them games, do you think he would have been fit by now? I don't think he would have.
I don't know, but I certainly don't think that Maguire can still be fit playing every single game since the beginning of the season. Like he's been literally playing every single game, FA Cup, Europa, everything, and he's made multiple errors. And yet, like it's still like, yeah, Maguire's playing next because he's captain, which I think was a bad mistake on Ollie. He should not have made someone who just joined the club. I'm not because I have an issue with Maguire, but I think it's odd that you take the captaincy of De Gea and then give someone who's literally just joined the club a captaincy, and then you pressurize him to actually then start. That for me is wrong. Bruno Fernandes has actually come into this side and actually showed far more leadership than Harry Maguire has since he's arrived. But that doesn't mean I think we should give Bruno Fernandes the captaincy because he needs to be at the club for a while.
I mean,
right, G, can I just ask you a question? Right. So you've said about that you wouldn't want the partnership to be Maguire and Lindelof next year, right? And you've just said about that you believe that Eric Bailly's the best defender at Manchester United currently. Right, so would you happily take Maguire and Bailly as the partnership next season, or would you rather see Manchester United go out there and spend money on another defender, such as Koulibaly, such as Ake, whoever? Would you sooner see that, or would you sooner play Maguire and Bailly? Or Maguire?
I'm going to say something controversial. So I'm going to say something controversial. To be honest, Smalling and Lindelof look better than Lindelof and Maguire.
I don't know. You can't
go back and look.
No, but the thing is with Smalling is Smalling's poor on the ball, and we like to play out from the back. Because personally, the defender I would go get is Upamecano from Leipzig, because I like Koulibaly. Koulibaly's a very good defender, but I want someone we can develop. And I think Upamecano can get to the level of Koulibaly because he's very good on the ball, he's powerful, he's strong, and he's quick. He will not cost as much as someone like...
I agree. I agree. I think we do need a young, quick centre-back. For me personally, I think that Solskjaer wanted Tuanzebe to be the centre-back partnership with Maguire. But he's had his own injury issues. That's a young, quick centre-back. And centre-back's all about partnerships. You know, Yannicka, a Man City fan, she knows that the centre-back is all about partnership. And if you can't keep a consistent partnership then you have your own issues. So I believe that the reason why Solskjaer's been playing Lindelof and Maguire is because he can at least trust that both of them will be there 99% of the time. But if you set your first choice partnership to be Maguire and Bailly, in 2 games' time, you don't know if that's going to be broken up again. And if all of your defenders have, and I'm talking about Chelsea, if all your defenders have technical issues, so they're going to make mistakes because they have technical issues, the mistakes you don't want to make are the ones due to lack of understanding. And that lack of understanding comes when you don't play together. So if you keep Maguire and Lindelof together, the mistakes they make would only be technical. Now, I'm not saying it's the right or wrong decision, but I'm saying I understand if that's the reason why he's going with Lindelof. Because for me, when Bailly came in against Chelsea in the Premier League game, we won 2-0. That was one of our best defensive performances at Stamford Bridge. He was solid. Yeah. He was retrieving everything. He was calm on the ball. But I don't know if 2 games later he's going to be out, and Solskjaer doesn't know that either. So I think that's one of the biggest issues. Yeah. And for that reason, to answer Tom's question, is why I wouldn't go next season with Maguire and Bailly, because that will last until the end of September, and Bailly could be out until Christmas. And you can't have
this is what I mean. This is what we need to go and get some.
Smalling back. I'm sorry.
Well, we need
he's not good enough on the ball. He's not good enough on the ball.
You know what?
We need to get somebody better over out.
He's not going to make those errors though. I can't remember.
Get somebody who's better overall. You know, like we're saying, Shay's just said about Upamecano. He ticks all the boxes for what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would want in a player. He's young, he's up and coming. You can develop him. He's got pace. He's got strength. He's got all the qualities for what we would need. Exactly the same. You can probably say that about most of the centre backs that you could name off the top of your head. And exactly, like, Bailly has qualities that are good to his game. If he could keep himself fit, I think he would be getting picked week in, week out.
Yeah.
But I like you talk about Smalling. Smalling's not really. What did Smalling really do for us last season? You say that Smalling and Lindelof work better. Well, why would he be loaned out straight away to Roma?
Smalling have the players that Maguire has now. Did he have Wan-Bissaka? Did he have
but this is the thing.
He didn't have those players. He was playing a worse team.
We bring Smalling back. And you're saying, so you'd play Smalling and who would you play? Maguire or what?
Lindelof.
Smalling, Maguire, Smalling. Who would you play? Is the partnership? You'd play Smalling.
I've said I don't.
So you'd play Smalling and you'd play Lindelof again.
Yeah, Smalling, Lindelof, or Lindelof or Bailly. Those are me. But because I don't really see.
He's 30.
You see me. I've always liked Smalling. I've always liked Smalling as a defender. Obviously, as Shane said, the issue is that he can't pass out from the back. But I do believe that as a partnership, Maguire and Smalling would be better. They will complement each other more than Maguire and Lindelof because neither of them
would work.
So you're always going to be exposed. However, Smalling is not the answer to our problems. We have to go out and get.
He's not. Yeah, he's out. He's out there.
The thing with Smalling is very, very good in the Italian league. It's a very good league for him because it's a lot slower than the Premier League and it's a lot more physical.
Defensive league.
Let me come to Kyle. Defensively, is there a problem for Man United? Do they need to go out and get another defender after already paying 80 million for one defender, obviously 50 million for the right back? Do they have to go back in the market and get another defender?
No, you don't. You don't have to get another defender. And the reason why I say that is because take Liverpool, for example. They don't have two world-class centre-backs. They got one, and he carries the weight of everyone else. So he's spent 80 million on Maguire. Maguire is still, what is he, 24, 25? He's still developing. This is not the finished article. He's still going to get better. Well, he should still get better. So Maguire can be that for you.
Maguire just turned 20.
So, but the difference is Van Dijk has got a defender that complements him very well, and Gomez. Lindelof does not complement Maguire.
No, but he doesn't complement.
Okay,
Maguire's
I know people keep about the complimenting him, but like I'm talking about just as an individual. Forget. Go on.
Yeah. So, okay, do you think that Man United have a partnership at the club at the moment that Solskjaer should be playing, other than Maguire and Lindelof, or is that the best that they can do?
Everyone knows that Maguire Bailly would be the best, but as you've already stated, the issue there is his fitness. Is he able to play at least 80% of the games throughout the course of the season? And the answer is no, because since he's arrived, he hasn't shown that he's capable of playing 80% of the games throughout the course of a Premier League season. Is Maguire Lindelof good enough? Personally, I think it would be if you went out and bought a better holding midfielder. If you bought a holding midfielder that is world class, a top holding midfielder, you wouldn't need to change your centre back pairing. It'd be good enough. Just get someone that's going to protect them too.
And
you'd be right.
You say that, but
go on, Shane.
You say that, but say United were playing against someone like Aubameyang, I would not back Lindelof or Maguire to beat him in a foot race. I would back Bailly to have a chance against him. I don't think I would back Lindelof.
But that's the thing. Aubameyang right now is playing out on the left, and he would have to be tracked by Wan-Bissaka. I'd expect Wan-Bissaka.
No, I'm not saying it has to be Aubameyang. I'm just saying it has to be a quick striker or like someone like Vardy.
Well, I guess we'll see on the last day of the season when they actually come up against Vardy to see what Solskjaer. And I guess what happens is what Solskjaer ends up doing to compensate for their lack of pace is you have to drop deeper. You're either going to have to drop deeper or you expose. By doing that, by dropping deeper, you create a gap between. If you're going to
can't be counter-attacked. So,
Yeah.
so then you don't have to chase back to your own goal.
But then
You
the
have to
problem
chase
is
the
you create a big gap between your defense and your midfield and attack if you're the one pressing, but you're having to drop deep. He wants to play with a high line, and we've seen how high our line has been generally this season. But because of the lack of pace, it does get exposed at times. Yannicka, Man City fan, obviously you've got your own defensive issues, but looking from the outside looking in or the inside looking in, do Manchester United need to go out and get a centre back? And who should we buy from Man City? Laporte available?
Definitely not. You know what? I do. Out of the Man United defense, I do think Bayer is your best. But obviously, like you say, it's inconsistency. We had the same with Company. You know, he was in, out, in, out. But when he did come back in, you know, he was a leader. And, you know, since he's gone, you've seen what we've been like this season at the back. So I think you could go out and buy someone. But again, it's always a risk when you bring someone new in because you don't know. Like, obviously, our plan is to go and buy a centre-back. But we don't know how they're going to fit in. You know, we've got like Otamendi and Stones are terrible together. Terrible together. On their own, they're not great, but at least they're not as bad when there's someone like Laporte next to them. So I don't know. You could get someone, but I think, like you say, it'd be, you know, they'd come in with Maguire because you're not going to spend 80 million and then not play Maguire. But then it's always a risk whether they're going to gel with Maguire because not every centre-back pairing gel together. You know, we had Company and Lescott. Lescott's not our best player by a long mile, but he gelled well with Company and they managed to go and win the league. So it just depends. You might get someone in who's not as good, but they just gel with Maguire. You know, Leicester, when he was at Leicester, he was playing with Wes Morgan. And
No, it was Johnny Evans last season.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Evans, yeah. So, yeah, you could get someone. Johnny Evans is a good player as well, I suppose. But,
he's like,
well, let him go.
Well, the thing is,
the
grass has always been on the other side. Because when we had Evans, I was like, Evans is decent.
Yeah,
but Evans
the thing is, we got rid of the wrong centre back. We shouldn't have kept Jones. We should have got rid of Jones and kept Evans.
A new contract.
That was the case. Yeah, exactly.
And we shouldn't have let Smalling go on loan, in my opinion. I don't think we should have let Smalling.
The thing with Smalling, I agree. I agree with you. However, Solskjaer had no intention of playing him as a first choice, maybe not even second choice.
No.
So it's like,
he's been sitting on the bench,
or do you allow him to go out and play? Now, maybe for the season that he had, Solskjaer might say, you know what, come back, Jones, you can be. Because for me, Jones should have been the one to go, and Smalling should have been the one to stay. But who wants Jones? Who's gonna? The fact that someone wants Smalling shows that nobody wants Phil Jones, but we're kind of stuck with him and signed him on an extra deal. And I can't work out. We're coming to the end of the stream, guys. Couple of things before we go. Chelsea's playing Liverpool next, race for top 4. Obviously, Leicester we know lost today, and Man United have therefore drawn level with Leicester on points, on goal difference, currently behind on goals scored.
Wait, on goal difference?
Yeah, goal difference is equal now. They lost, but they're ahead on.
Oh, I thought it was 5 goals. Oh,
no. It was at some point, but they've been basically losing now. We've caught up with our bigger wins. Chelsea's playing Liverpool on Wednesday. So are we playing West Ham at home on Wednesday? Based on obviously what we've seen today and the form and everything, or lack of it, seeing as we lost our last game today, what are you looking to see? I'm going to come to Kyle and Yannicka first, and then I'll get you lots boys forward. So Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, West Ham. What results, Kyle?
What results? I'm expecting Man United to beat West Ham, considering that the recent results, West Ham look like they're safe from the drop now, so they can rest easy. I mean, if they weren't safe and they had to come out fighting, you know, to make sure that they don't get relegated, be a different story. But I think they will ease off the gas a little bit, and so I'm going to put Man United because they got more to play for than West Ham. So I put Man United to beat West Ham. I'm gonna put Chelsea to beat Liverpool as well, because Liverpool have been shaky of recent. Listen, hear me. And I know what you said to me the other day. You told me Liverpool ain't lost at Anfield since, what was it, April 2017?
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, April 2007, and the match is at Anfield. But hear me, Chelsea just need this one win. And yes, I know they can get the win after the Liverpool game, but they just need the one win. Why not get it now? And Liverpool have been shaky. And not only are they shaky, Arsenal finished all hopes of them breaking any records. They can only get 99 points, can't reach 100. They can't break the 32 win record. The maximum they can get is 32 if they win their last two. So they can't break any records. So, I mean, you might even see some of the kiddies go out and play. So I'm going to put Chelsea to beat Liverpool and Leicester to draw Man United. Leicester lost to Spurs today. Well, got bent over, but I think it's going to be Chelsea, Man United in the top four. Leicester won't make it.
Yannicka.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're happy to hear the two stats that Man City are keeping: record points and record wins. Liverpool can only draw level. Do you think? Well, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, West Ham. What are you thinking?
I agree. I think you will beat West Ham. West Ham haven't been great this season, to be honest. So I think in other seasons they're beating you, and there's been a few shock results, but I can't see that this year. So I think you'll beat them probably quite comfortably. Plus, sometimes on the back of a loss, you do go out and get a big win. So that could be another element that goes in your favour. I'd say, Liverpool and Chelsea, it's a bit harder to predict because I think Chelsea look good at the moment. And obviously they're coming off the back of, a win. They know they're going into a final. They're still they're gonna want to finish third. I don't know if anyone can catch them.
Yeah, everyone can.
Yeah, so they're gonna want to win to just finish off. Make sure that they finish third. I do kind of think Chelsea might get a shot, but just with it being at Anfield, Liverpool are strong at home, so it could be a draw, to be honest, because I think they're both going to try and win. So, maybe a draw. Hopefully, a draw. I want them to get as low points as they can get.
Tom, what are you thinking? Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, West Ham.
Well, I'll start off with a game that I think means a lot more. It's Chelsea versus Liverpool. Obviously, being in that film, we need Chelsea to try and slip up some more. They've just come off of a big win, obviously beating us and everything. I think in terms of Man United, we need to have a reaction. That's always something that you need to see. Talk of Liverpool, like you just said, can't break any records. They've already won the title. They're not in the Champions League. They've got nothing to play for other than to lift the trophy on Wednesday. That's it. That's all they've got to do. And then once they've done that, they've got nothing else to do, have they? And really, Chelsea won them the title. So, so they might want to be a bit nicer to them. But, just, seriousness, I do think I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to say something like a 1-0 draw or something. I can't see it being like Chelsea's going to get whitewashed or anything like that. Liverpool recently haven't been amazing. The Arsenal one, 2 defensive errors cost them the game. Exactly. Burnley drew the last game at home. Probably could have lost. Burnley at the bar. That could have been 2-1. This home record from 3 years ago could have been gone. But I think if any team's going to have a good chance of ruining it, should we say, it'll probably be Chelsea because Chelsea's got the top 4 to play for. So they've got something to play for, and they're going to be watching over their backs at what happens in Manchester as well. So they're going to be something to play for. Liverpool don't have anything to play for. So I don't really see how Liverpool would win, really. I think it'll just be something like a draw. Man United, like I've already just said, there needs to be some sort of reaction. Nothing this or knee-jerk reaction. I think West Ham do pose a threat because they've got some good players. Rice is a good CDM. They've got Antonio's a good player. He's going to be a hard player like Giroud today. Giroud was a hard player to keep at bay all game, and he had that one moment and he scored. That's it. That lack of concentration can just cost you something, exactly like it did today. So I think, Antonio's a player you're going to have to watch your eye on. I'm speaking to a Mr. Maguire there by saying that. But, it's just, it's must win. From a United perspective, it's must win. We had the chance last week.
I think pretty much all our games since lockdown have pretty much been a must win, and we've done well in most of them.
Yeah,
drawing with
exactly. But Wednesday's a bit more pressure because obviously when we had the chance to go third against Southampton, and we bottled it.
Yeah,
we've got the chance to go. Well, then what happens with Chelsea? Third again.
Yeah.
We've got the chance to get into the top four. And then we'll not stay there for a couple of hours. We'll stay there for at least until the weekend. And then just knock off Leicester. And then boom, we're in. So it's a case of going to West Ham, reaction. I think we already know the team that's going to play. All the best players are going to be in there. And it's just going to be I think it's just going to be something like a 2-0 or something. Just see the game out, get your players off. Your major players, Pogba and Fernandes and all them, and rest up and make the trip to Leicester and see what you can do here. So
Shane.
I'm going to go for I'm going to sit on the fence. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Shane. Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, West Ham, or Liverpool, Chelsea.
I expect us to thrash West Ham with a reaction, and I actually agree with Kyle. I think Chelsea will beat Liverpool. I think they're going to beat them because. You say they have a very good record at Anfield, which they do. It's incredible. But one of the main reasons for that is the crowd. Like that crowd thrives them on. They don't have that anymore. And Chelsea will take confidence from that victory against Man United. So I reckon Chelsea will beat them.
Red Devil Studio.
We'll see. I still think that Liverpool will beat Chelsea at Anfield. And this is the thing about these results like this is that I try not to be too reactionary. So as much as I think that I feel like Ole got his tactics wrong, I'm not going to be one of these United fans that says, "Oh, Ole out" or something like I was telling Abdullah and a few people on Twitter. It's like everyone's just now sort of ignored the fact that we're unbeaten in 19 games. Yes, I get its importance to where we are, but you've got to place these things in context. Chelsea and even Arsenal now not somehow better, superior to Manchester United and City because they beat them in the FA Cup semi-final. It was only 2 weeks ago that Chelsea lost to West Ham and Sheffield United 3-0. So when it comes to Liverpool squad, people say Liverpool have dropped off. But if I look at those games that Liverpool played, Liverpool still dominated those games quite convincingly. It's just that in the case of Arsenal, it was like us. Van Dijk makes a mistake, Aubameyang pounced. And in the case of Burnley, Nick Pope was just absolutely fantastic. But it wasn't that they kind of just, Salah and Mane were just like, yeah, we're going to be on holiday. They were peppering Burnley's goal. They were peppering Arsenal's goal. So for me, the only way I see Chelsea winning at Anfield possibly is if Lampard actually changes the formation again and goes like a back three. Because it's clear that this back 3-4-3 system that he's done is working. However, because he obviously rested a few players, I think he'll actually revert back to his normal system against Liverpool. And as a result, I think that will play into Liverpool's hands. And I don't think this Chelsea defense is much. Liverpool defense is clearly better than our defense, generally speaking. And I don't think they want to lose at Anfield. So I still think Liverpool will beat Chelsea. As for United, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Really?
I'm scared because teams are figuring us out now in the sense that clearly we're not playing the kind of counter-attacking system we played in the first half of the season where we would defend deep and then hit teams on the break. We're now trying to work the ball up through the middle with and essentially play possession-based football from passing from the back. And if you look at Villa, if you look at Palace, if you look at Southampton, all those teams just pressed us. They said, okay, have the ball and we'll just press you and press you, press you. And West Ham will do the exact same thing. So, unless Ollie changes that, then we're going to have problems because and on top of that, Antonio, like Lindelof and Maguire, especially Lindelof, can get bullied easily. Antonio will just bully Lindelof like it's nothing. So for me, the most important thing is we don't lose. If we can get, I'm going to give it a draw. Actually, so I think that we can beat Leicester. I think we can beat Leicester on the final game of the season, but I think that, especially due to the combination of lack of players, you look at Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka looks bad. He looks really, really bad. The players look tired. The only thing that might edge into United's favour is that West Ham have pretty much secured promotion. So maybe in their minds, they might think, oh, yeah, we're on holiday. We don't have to care about it, and we need to win. And that's the only, but yeah, I'm going to give it a draw.
I hear you. Listen, it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game on the back of this, not even just the result, it's the performance. The performance was so bad that the players themselves can't be, they're not going to go into the game confident. If we lost a late goal today and end up losing the game, there'll be some good performances there. Players like, we're a bit unlucky, whatever, we go and we start a new unbeaten run. But we were so bad. And to be honest, if you look at our last 3 performances, Villa, Southampton, Palace, all today, it's like this was in the offing because we weren't playing well the last couple of games. The Villa one's a bit less because we started poor, but we got better. The Southampton game, we never really got hold of that game. And the Palace game, we never really got hold of the game. So
let's be real with Palace. If it wasn't for those VAR decisions,
it would have dropped points.
We could have dropped points easily.
So it's a case
against Palace, I thought we looked better when Matic came on.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think what today shows again, which we've seen for a lot this season, is that when we make changes from our first 11, the quality and depth is not there to have the same performance or put out the same performance. So the what we need is obviously better. 100% we need better depth. Now,
the only thing I can say about that, Neeks, is that again in the Palace game, to a certain extent in the Southampton game, like we did start with our strongest 11, and we were still getting pressed. So
as Shane said, in the Palace game, I think we made a couple of changes, but there was definitely obviously we had a left back issue where both of them were out. Osimhen came in, and we had but as Shane said, as soon as Matic came on, it was a different game. We started controlling the game. So I think especially that midfield hub of Matic, Pogba, and Bruno, when you bring in a McTominay or a Fred, they are so much below that level in any of those positions you want to choose that it makes a massive impact on the way we play. But I think we'll revert back to our best team. We've got 3 days off, and I do think we'll beat West Ham. I'm looking to. We need to win by at least 2 goals. At least 2 goals to give us some breathing space. More like at least 3 goals to give us some breathing space in the goal difference situation. Because if, for example, we won by 3 goals and then we lost to Leicester on the last day of the season by 1 goal, we will still go through into the Champions League by 1 goal and goal difference.
Yeah,
anything less than that is up in the air going into the last game. So I think we will win. It's not going to be easy, but I think if we can get the early goal, I think we will win. And the Chelsea-Liverpool game, I don't think Liverpool's going to lose. I'm not sure they're going to win because the motivation to win is not there. If it was the last day of the season and you got all your fans there and you want to give them a good send-off for the season and then you lift the trophy at the end, there'll be more motivation. There's actually no motivation for them to win. They just want to get to the end of the game. I agree on that. But there's still the motivation not to lose that record. And they want to, when they bring the fans back to the ground, they still want to have the unbeaten record. And I'm sure Klopp's going to drill that into them because he can't be happy. I know he wasn't happy with the Arsenal performance. You saw all his animation on the touchline during that game. So I think Liverpool will get at least a draw in that game, which will set up final day. Man United possibly on 2 points ahead of Chelsea, 3 ahead of Leicester. Chelsea playing Wolves, Man United versus Leicester. It will be absolutely amazing final day. We've just got someone coming in, but we've got a couple of minutes left of the stream. Yes, obviously you're wearing your Chelsea shirt. We're coming to the end of the stream. I just want to get quickly your views on the match today. Where do you think Lampard got it right? Finally, but 4th time lucky. Can't hear you.
Put your mic on.
Can't hear you, bro. Your mic's not working.
Have you muted him?
No, it's not muted. It's not muted. Can't hear you.
We still can't hear you, buddy.
Check.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Perfect. Yeah, we literally didn't give you guys any room to breathe. So I'm quite surprised at how poor you guys were. I thought we were dominate that game from the first to the end, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you did. But do you think formation change?
I think the formation suited us really well. I thought that from the minute go, we know what United going to do. We sat from the back, so we from the beginning we just like to pressure your defense and also the midfield as well. And I've never seen Bruno Fernandes get locked in the midfield. He can't. He don't have any space to get creative to go up front.
No, yeah, no, I agree. I said we're coming at the end of the stream, so we can't keep it long. But one word from everyone: who's going to win the FA Cup?
Surely us. It has to be us. It has to be us. I'm confident though, but at the same time, it's Arsenal. You know what? Let's just let's end the season really well. If we win the cup, it's going to be a good season for Frank Lampard. But also, importantly, the top four is priority for Chelsea. And if Chelsea does make the top four and win the FA Cup, and I think it's going to be the best season under Lampard. Yeah.
Agreed. Yannicka, who's going to win? One team, one name.
Oh, Arsenal have got a good record in the FA Cup, so the thing is, I don't mind if Arteta wins it or Lampard. I like both, so I don't really care. But I think
who do you think
win the FA Cup? So maybe Arsenal, yeah.
Arsenal, okay. Red Devil.
I mean, they're gonna both set up the same. It's clear that everyone seems to be going for this back three business now for some reason. It's coming back. So it'll be 3-4, 3-4-3, but it's just gonna go down to whose defense is gonna be worse. If David Luiz makes a mistake or if Rudiger makes a mistake, that's literally what it's going to come down to. I think at the end of the day, but this is Arsenal's cup, and I think Arsenal do kind of need it to actually secure, like I think European football. So I'm gonna just say Arsenal just to edge it.
Shane.
I'll go with Arsenal as well. I just think that Arsenal they still have mistakes in them, but defensively they're a lot better under Arteta.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Carl?
Arsenal are going to win it for a record 14th time, the Emirates Arsene Wenger Cup.
Listen, I said from the semi-final, I said if Arsenal beat Man City, I think they'll win it because they have no business beating Man City. And somehow they've done it. And I felt whoever got into the final, whether it's Man United or Chelsea, I just felt for them to beat Man City, it means that there's something with Arsenal in the FA Cup. And for me, I think they're going to go in and win it. But it's going to be a good game. Arsenal are going to want to get revenge for Baku, where Chelsea win. Chelsea had Champions League in their hands. They had the Champions League. Arsenal needed to win the Europa League to get into that. Somehow Giroud turned up. Hazard put on one of his best games for Chelsea, 4-1 victors. And Arsenal's going to want revenge for that. But I'm sure Chelsea are going to want to get one over on Arsenal again. Guys, thanks for joining me. Everyone in the comments, thanks for all your interaction. Bad day for Man United. Good day for all the Man United haters. I know you're out there. I see you. But yeah, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Comment, share the video.